So, everyone, unless you've been living under a rock, you're probably well aware that Fort Mac has a huge forest fire. Just the whole goddamn town's on fire, for fuck's sakes. It's crazy. So, although you didn't hear about it, but this fire originally started last Saturday in a small ravine located just outside Fort Mac. It was about a kilometer away. This situation was deemed under control, and I quote, "We're not really worried about it."
Driving over the
So naturally being that this small forest fire was in a small ravine to the southwest of the city, it climbed up the hill and fucking burnt everything. So on Monday, we have the worst conditions possible, wind blowing in from the southwest, along with it being fire season, because it's spring and everything's dead and dry as shit, not to mention lack of rain. Murphy's Law strikes again. Anything bad that can happen fucking did happen. And guess what? You guys didn't give it enough attention. As far as I'm concerned, that's your fucking fault, you idiot leadership, whoever the fuck you are. You didn't allocate enough resources to attack the fire while it was fucking small. You had 2 fucking days to do this. Jesus. So, you might be wondering when the state of emergency was declared. Well, it was declared on Wednesday, 2 days after they knew it was going to get out of control. And then I quote here, "Everything that can be done has been done." But how bad was it really? Well, it started right around this location. And then it started to approach on this neighborhood and eventually destroyed 80% of the buildings there. It decided to cross the river, and it also jumped the highway leading south to civilization, the one that brings all the basic necessities to the north, the fire crews, the cops, everything, fuel. They only have 2 gas stations, and they're both empty. This is crazy. But let's check out this NASA GIF. Oh wow, the whole goddamn town is now surrounded. Even the northern highway's blocked off. Oh, fuck. But now let's move on to the politics of all this shit. So a month ago, the fire budget was announced that it would be cut by about $15 million, which I cannot stress enough would come into effect this following fall. So it actually doesn't have anything to do with this fire specifically per se. However, it's the politics that really gets at you. We have our official opposition saying, "Will you let Alberta burn then?" Yeah, he definitely got his opportunity on that one, because now he can be quoted here for whenever they want to do a smear campaign on these guys. You know, it's politics. It really is. But you know what I did find that was really interesting was the reduction to the Disaster Assistance Program, which is a reduction of about $400 million. I mean, this does include things like floods and all other shit, but forest fires would be included in this section. And rebuilding Fort Mac might not be as easy as it was 2 years ago. But you know what really grinds everyone's gears is when you blame this on climate change, you fucking retard. Sorry, it's not just climate change. He called it karmatic. Okay, for those of you who don't understand Fort Mac is the capital of the Canadian oil patch. It really is. It's 80,000 strong and is just a large city mostly built up around the oil patch. So when this idiot representative of the ruling provincial government from Lethbridge, another Albertan city, calls this thing karmutic because of the oil patch and pisses off everyone. For fuck's sakes, you're a politician. And naturally people respond with their disapproval. My favorite is this one. Wonder what kind of karma is coming his way for idiotic statements like that. Well, he won't be fucking elected, and he'll be out of a job. Oh wait, he already is. The sad part about this is he's not alone. There's how many other fucking retards posting comments that this is karmic because oil causes climate change, and therefore the people who extract it out of the ground are responsible for their own demise and this own fire or something like that. Like, it's a goddamn forest fire. Forest fires have been happening for thousands of fucking years. If anyone's to blame, it is the incompetence of leadership and how slowly they were to act. As well as this fire in particular was not caused by a lightning storm. It was obviously most likely man-made because there was no fucking lightning storms, there was no thunderstorms nearby at the time that it started. So the only climate change argument you have is because this is a particularly dry spring. And thus, this article pretty much sums it up very well. If anyone is to blame, it is you as well. Every single human fucking being that drives a car to work, that turns on the light switch, that uses fucking plastic bottles. Okay? Get this through your fucking head. It's not the fault of the people who bring it out of the ground. If the people who didn't bring it out of the ground didn't exist, well, your lifestyle would come to a grinding fucking halt, and the only reason why it is coming out of the ground is because of your demand for it. First point that she addresses in the article: in light of a disaster in Fort McMurray, these people are being assholes. Like, can't you just wait? Can't you wait until they're evacuated at least? Second point, one cannot link any single extreme climate event with climate change. For all we know, this could be historical norms, and let's look at the secondary, more likely causes: long-term fire suppression and the fragility of rapidly built cheap housing. Could climate change be a factor? Well, let's just assume it is, for the sake of argument. Blaming Fort Mac for karmic destiny is not only insensitive, not that I put much stock in sensitivity either, it's just plain dumb. Climate change is what jargon lovers would call a collective action problem. Most of us receive the benefits and wealth of fossil fuels, either directly or indirectly. We like warm homes, driving to work, flying to sunny spots for vacation, etc. But to share nasty opinions about the likes of people in Fort McMurray, all the better to demonstrate our own infallible virtue. Well, that seems pretty well rooted, right? Wrong. It's abrupt climate change, stupid. Oh, really? Tell me, Jen Dyer, how is Jen Jerson wrong? I probably got those last names wrong, but forgive me. This is not how it's supposed to happen. The standard climate change predictions said that people in the tropics and the subtropics would be badly hurt by global warming long before the people living in the temperate zones farther away from the equator were not feeling much pain at all. What? Climate change is supposed to affect the whole fucking planet. It's supposed to change the climate everywhere, so that everything is now no longer the climate used to be, hence the name climate change. It doesn't have anything to do with just the tropics changing, or anything to do with just the temperate zones changing. It has everything to do with the climate drastically changing, with the temperature increases supposedly changing the ocean currents, which changes weather patterns. Apparently, you fail to understand what climate change is, while arguing it's a problem. That was unfair because it was the people of rich countries in the temperate zone in North America, Europe, Japan mainly, who industrialized early and started burning large amounts of fossil fuels as long as 2 centuries ago. That's how they got rich. Blame people for getting rich. Okay. Their emissions of carbon dioxide over the years have accounted for 80% of the greenhouse gases of human origin, and now are in the atmosphere causing warming, and yet they're getting hurt the least and last. Well, seeing as that I believe you live in Georgia and are posting for a Georgia paper, your career, your life expectancy directly are affected by industrialization of America. But apparently that's a bad thing because of the environment, right? So your career, where you bitch about American industrialization, is only possible through American industrialization. It just continues with satirical bullshit from here on out, so if you want to read the article, it's linked down below, obviously, but I'm done with this. This is garbage. See, the problem with blaming the dry conditions on climate change is the fact that in 1930 we had the Great Depression and a great drought, which was a lot fucking drier than it is now for a period of like 10 fucking years. So if dry seasons are not an anomaly and just products of climate change overall and everything's just gonna get drier from here on out, where the fuck is the drought that dwarfs the Great Depression? Now, where is that drought? Because it doesn't exist, yet it's supposed to be more likely according to your assertion. I mean, you look at the graphs and they all say the Earth's temperature is warming, but yet we don't have these disastrous droughts. That should be worse in theory. And yes, I am aware by 1930 industrialization had been going on for roughly 100 years. However, it's the fact that the parts per million that was being produced is dwarfed by the parts per million change from 1930 to 2000. And yes, this is roughly only 150 years of industrialization, and so who knows what the hell can happen in the next 100 years. But might I remind you that our temperatures are on par with medieval warming period and the Roman warming period. It's only that we have a roughly increase over the last 300, 400, 500 years is because of the Little Ice Age. And yes, I understand this graph cannot predict 1,000 years into the future, nor can it disprove that industrialization is directly linked to climate change. However, this should help us be more skeptical when it comes to industrialization being linked with climate change. It simply is this assertion that it's 100% true when we really don't have all the fucking facts. There is just simply not enough data to understand and determine the long-term effects of industrialization. However, assessment risk reports done in 2012 clearly assert that there's more needed to be done to protect Alberta from forest fires. The panel pushed for numerous of things, including more staff and year-round staff, more crews, more equipment, and aircraft contracts. So, instead of worrying about climate change, we should probably worry about forest fighting to stop forest fires. And then we have Trudeau, who says federal resistance has been met. That being said, while the whole town is burning to the ground. And we have, essentially, Trudeau's cheap-ass remark of he'll match the donations to the Red Cross. So, the federal government will not do anything unless the people raise money, and it's only proportional to what the people raise. This all while they're giving $1 billion to refugees. So, $30 million to Canadian citizens versus $1 billion to non-Canadians. Which is particularly interesting. For the government stats on household incomes, there is about 110,000 people living in the Fort McMurray area, and over 22,000 of them make $100,000 and over before tax. At the lowest possible tax rate of 26%, we end up with $572 million raised in one fiscal year. That is for the highest earners in Fort Mac, and it's obviously a lot more than that. So, I find it particularly interesting how the Canadian government can only provide $13 million for the citizens of Fort Mac, yet they pay $572 million in income tax alone for 1 year. Yes, I understand that this covers other programs, but honestly, this is 1 year, and forest fires that destroy economically significant cities are an event so rare that they are honestly once-in-a-century type shit. And I find it absolutely revolting that Ottawa can only muster a 20th of the factor that just the highest earners alone in Fort Mac provide into the system in 1 fucking year. Look, I'm not a libertarian, guys, but this shit is retarded. Fuck, man. And this new federal government that is just stupid, absolutely stupid. Oh, it grinds my gears. It grinds my gears. And honestly, I find this refugee nonsense just repulsive. It's crap. Personally, I'd rather their country just be fixed and us work towards fixing it rather than just importing them in because, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It really doesn't. They're not working. They aren't taxpayers. They're fucking welfare. Wonderful. Alright, so I guess that's going to wrap up this video, and yeah, I guess I hate Trudeau. Thank you very much, and have a good day. And on a side note, I'm trying to, do this YouTube thing, grow my channel, have some fun. But at the same time, I have no idea what the hell you guys want, and likes and subscribes are all great and dandy, but honestly, I cannot get enough feedback. I cannot get enough comments. So if you like the video, or if you drop a like, please leave a comment, just a short one on, what you liked about it, whether you liked the sound, the audio, or whatever, the content, the graphics, I don't care what the hell it is, just the biggest thing that you liked. Or if you really hated the video, please add, oh, your voice sounds like a faggot, or, whatever the hell it may be that you absolutely hate. If it's something like that, I probably can't change it. But if it's something more like, oh, you edited this wrong, I don't like it, I put a thumbs down. Okay, then I can focus on that, and I can actually change that. I just want to improve rather than be told you hate it and don't hate it, and then I have to play this weird-ass game of Mastermind and try whatever works and see what happens. Like, no, I would rather just be told. I can't get enough feedback. It's one of my default shortfalls of being such a small channel and just starting out. So, anyways, I hope you participate, and thank you very much, and have a good day.